Thank you, everyone, for returning back to WWTA News. Hey, thank you all for returning. Getting to the end of that week, aren't we? I've got two articles that I thought would be important that I check out and show you all so we can put our eyes on this content. But before we get started, if you haven't already hit that like button, please feel free to hit that like button. I greatly appreciate that. It helps this video get out to more people. Also, if you have any family, friends, or loved ones who you think could use any of this information, please feel free to send them a link so they can see this as well, and they can have some of the opportunities that you yourself have now claimed. All right, so getting that out the way, let's go ahead and see what's going on with these two articles. Now, this first article here is from the block, and they're reporting on Central African Republic begins their public sale of the Sango coin. Now, previously, we had received news that yes, the Congo was going to create a Sango coin, digital coin that you would have to use to access their resources. And this being great information, because when you look at Africa as a whole, you can see that these countries have a great abundance of resources, which has been cheated or swindled from them over the course of some time. So now that the blockchain exists, that digital currency exists, this does offer opportunities for countries that were currently or previously known as third world country, not first world, to now manifest their own futures and destinies as they would have it. So this is awesome news, but let's go ahead and see what's going on in this article. So it says in this article, the Sango coin, the national cryptocurrency of the Central African Republic, also the CAR, is now on sale according to details on the Sango project website. The public sale began on Monday with the 200 million Sango coins available for purchase at a price of 10 cents. And I guess that's 10 cents per coin. According to the website, the final listing price will be 45 cents per coin. Now, so most of you who have been keeping up with this channel, you do understand that these quote-unquote cryptocurrencies or digital currencies or coins, as some choose to call them, they all have a value. So, you know, when you think about the main coin that everyone talks about, Bitcoin, it's got a value of like $20,000. It's been up to $60,000 value per one coin. So when we begin to think about the country we live in currently, if you're a United States citizen, you're living in the United States, well, if you're under that business model, the United States business model, then they have their central bank currency known as the USD, the United States dollar. And that United States dollar, we use that to purchase these cryptocurrencies or these digital currencies. So for us looking at this, what this means is 10 cents from my dollar is what I would be paying to get these coins or get access to these coins, to be able to hold these coins or store them for my own future use if I so choose, right? So with that public sale, you know, it went from 10 cents, final listing price at 45 cents right now. But the article continues to say, people looking to buy the token need at least $100 in the accepted cryptocurrencies. So you can also use different cryptocurrencies to then purchase the Sango coin. These coins are Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance, Tether, USD coin, Binance USD, and the DAI or DAI coin as well. The sale supports transfers of these tokens on both the Ethereum network, aka ERC20 coins, and the Binance Smart Chain, BEP20. networks. The project already stipulated a $500 minimum for participation in this round, but was forced to lower the entry requirement amid complaints from prospective buyers. So that sounds like an initial coin offering, an ICO, or I think the other term is an IPO. But nonetheless, as we see here, they're not playing over in the Congo. And again, this is one country on this quote-unquote continent known as Africa to make this first step, which is amazing because we saw what? There's the Sand coin. Where is the Sand coin? The Sand coin exists in one of the Caribbean islands, I believe. So they have their own digital coin, the Sand coin. I can't think of right away if any other country is using their own particular coin that they're backing up with their own resources. But this is still powerful news coming out of the Congo, because for Africa as a whole, it's going to separate them from being under the rule and thumb of other countries who would set value to them and their assets. So they now have control of their assets and commodities and can now control how you access them, especially because they're now using blockchain technologies. But to continue in this article, it says the Sango project has sold 5.25% of the tokens as of the time of publishing. This means the project has raised a little over $1 million in the first 24 hours of the public sale, or an IPO, initial public offering. The project plans to raise more than $1 billion from the token sale that will last for 1 year. Sango coins bought during the public sale phase have a 1-year vesting requirement. As such, buyers cannot withdraw or transfer their token until the lockup period is over. I don't know, but this kind of sounds like this is operating such as a security. And I know in the United States there's laws and different things involving that, so I don't know if this will be accessible to United States citizens. This makes me really question that. Nonetheless, the United States does not rule other nations and countries, so it does not matter what Africa does as a whole. Just like our favorite president, Mr. Bukele of El Salvador, so graciously put it: mind your business, stay in your lane. That's awesome. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and move from this article because I think that pretty much speaks for itself. That there was an initial coin offering or initial public offering, and there's some sales there. I will be checking certain exchanges, such as, I don't like using BitTrue too much anymore for the purpose of taxes. I will be checking KuCoin, the KuCoin exchange, the Bitmart exchange, possibly a few different exchanges I'll be checking to keep up with the Sango coin. And as I find more information, I will definitely talk about it in future videos. I just want to get your eyes back on the prize at this point in time. Now let's get to our second article. So this is our second article, and we're going to close with this one. It says from the World Economic Forum, 3 circular economy approaches to reduce demand for critical metals. All right, what's going on here? The article goes on to say, we need a clean energy revolution, and we need it now, but the transition from fossil fuels to renewables will need large supplies of critical metals such as cobalt, lithium, nickel, to name a few. Shortages of these critical minerals could raise the cost of clean energy technologies. One obvious route is to mine more virgin material, but this comes with its own costs and potentially unintended consequences. Another solution commonly discussed is to recycle more and use the metals already in circulation. The complication is that we do not currently have enough metals in circulation. Even with recycling taken into consideration, mineral reproduction is still forecasted to increase by nearly 500%. So how should we proceed? A fully circular economy is much more than recycling. It is keeping materials at their highest value. It's time to look beyond circular materials. These 3 mindset changes can help reduce demand for critical metals. So At this point, they're saying that there are metal shortages, right? So we think about what's currently going on with the supply and demand issues that are happening globally. We think about the climate change as well, and we ask the question, are these things creating these problems which are causing price increases on a lot of goods? And is this why we're having reduced products out there, or inventory out there for purchase, right? So let's see what's going on with this. All right, so they give us a diagram to look at. Very interesting, but we're not going to dig into that. We want to see what they have to say. Let's see. It says, number one, going from owning to using. There it is. Now, so we've heard, and I'm going to read this, but we've heard that one of the major things coming in the future is you will own nothing and be happy. And so I always, been a little puzzled about that, but there's, points you could look at and possibly understand. But so this exists as far as what we're going to be looking for in the future with the economy for ourselves going forward. But let's see what they have to say about this, right? So they're saying you're going to go from owning to just using. So the article goes on to say, be honest. You likely have at least one old mobile phone tucked in the bottom of a drawer, possibly an unused hard drive taking up space too. You aren't alone. The average car or van in England is driven just 4% of the time, while most already have a personal phone. 39% of workers globally have employer-provided laptops and mobile phones. This is not at all resource efficient. More sharing can reduce ownership of idle equipment and thus material usage. So the reason, obviously, that they gave us the fact that the metal shortages exist because we don't recycle enough is because we're producing massive amounts of things and throwing it away or discarding it, right? Or just not discarding it, and it just sits and collects and it becomes hoarded materials, right? But let's continue. This article says car sharing platforms such as Get Around and Blue SG have already seized that opportunity to offer vehicles where you pay per hour used. Now, in the idea of a vehicle paying for the hours of usage, that's a smart idea. So when they say you'll own nothing and be happy, well, if this is the idea you have, this makes sense, right? If I'm going to be, and let's just throw an idea out there. Let's say I'm going to use a vehicle to get to and from work Monday through Friday, because I'm just driving a good distance to get to work. I don't want to drive a vehicle over the weekend. I'll probably, have stuff delivered to me, or I'll be sitting in this weekend, right? So let's just say I pay for the hours used, right? If they tell me, well, you're working 40 hours this week, so well, technically the vehicle will be in my possession for the 40 hours of the work week plus the hours that it costs to get to and fro. So let's just say they rented me the vehicle for, I don't know, let's say 60, 70 hours, right? And let's say I use 60, 70 hours. I had that vehicle for 60, 70 hours. And let's say they charged me per the hour. Well, that a few things happen with that. One thing is it's almost like a fleet, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be like a fleet vehicle? Which means that technically I don't have to fix anything. I would just have to return the vehicle and then it would be serviced. So then the responsibilities of the taxes on the vehicle, the repairs on the vehicle, there would be insurance on it. Obviously, that's what you'd have to drive it. But that would take a lot of the responsibility off me just for me to get to and from to work. So to me, that kind of makes sense. So it would basically be at this point, the price point, right? But let's continue this article. So it says, this is not at all resource efficient. More sharing can reduce ownership of idle equipment and thus material usage. Car sharing platforms such as Get Around and Blue SG have already seized the opportunity to offer vehicles where you pay per hour used. To enable a broader transition from ownership to usership, the way we design things and systems need to change too. For example, car sharing is made possible by new keyless unlocking features. Similarly, user profiles that create a distinction for work and personal use on the same device is needed to reduce the number of devices per person. A design process that focuses on fulfilling the underlying need instead of designing for product purchasing is fundamental to this transition. This is the mindset needed to redesign cities to reduce private vehicles and other usages. So, devil's advocate here, and this is an important article because I know this is the talk of the town right now. But let's begin to talk about how many vehicles are on the road and being driven. Right, we have vehicles up and down the highway that are on the road that are not possibly in proper working condition or being serviced properly, right? Most vehicles that people own don't even get serviced. Most people don't have their vehicles serviced. Usually an older crowd tends to take their vehicles to service, and especially if you're buying a new vehicle. If you buy a used vehicle, 9 times out of 10 you don't take it to have it serviced, and you're driving a vehicle that's still breaking down and falling apart the more miles you put on it. So and as far as recycling, well, we have junkyards that exist where people go take old parts off of vehicles and put them on their old vehicles, which kind of promotes the same issue of vehicles that are going to be breaking down, which become dangerous when you talk about highway situations. You would hate to have a ball joint failure on a vehicle, the front end of a vehicle, while you're driving down a highway at maybe 65, 70 miles an hour. This could be very deadly to you and other people that could possibly be involved in such a situation. So there's so many ways that a vehicle makes sense when you think about it. Wouldn't it be a lot better? Now, to not confuse this, we have hobbyists that like to rebuild vehicles, right? That exists. But to me, that has nothing to do with everyday use of a vehicle, personal or business, right? So, and then you can also look at the tax implications on that. So if I am paying hourly for a vehicle service to use this vehicle to take me to and fro, and this vehicle's hours are recorded and documented going to and fro, and I'm only being charged for the to and the fro, then tax liability is also awesome because there's a long record there. And one of the major things is, especially looking as we go into the blockchain technology, which I'm sure this is going to eventually tie back into for smart cities, is that there's going to be a record of the vehicle keeping record of the issues with itself because of all the sensors and data that these vehicles are producing. So I would only imagine this could offer great opportunities for the blockchain technology to keep records, such as BMW does, and then ping you notification that it's time for a vehicle to be serviced. Now, I'm not sure if you, the viewer, are used to like the purchase of a new vehicle. When you buy a newer vehicle or a new vehicle from a dealer, you will get emails and messages to your phone when your vehicle's up for service time, and then they schedule your appointment. You go in, the vehicle gets serviced, right? So if you're a new car owner, then you know that that's how that goes. And if you're not, then you're unaware, and you probably don't have your vehicle serviced, which causes problems in the long run. So even right now, as much as people would say this is a bad idea, I'm still having to say, for an economy and a financial economy and a social economy, especially to the detriment of the health of people and continuing to live without these fatal car accidents, it kind of seems smart what they're talking about here. But let's continue this article. All right, so the user profiles, it says a design process that focuses on fulfilling the underlying needs instead of designing for a product purchasing is fundamental to this transaction. This is the mindset needed to redesign cities to reduce private vehicles and other usages, right? So, number 2, it says it enables preference for longevity. Who doesn't want to get the most out of everyday products like washing machines and increasingly domestic solar panels? Increasing a product's longevity can reap significant dividends. Keeping a smartphone for 5 years instead of 3 reduces the phone's annual carbon footprint by 31%. The trouble is, product companies are incentivized to sell more, not to design for longevity. Smart, right? It's all about a business model. While some product makers are transitioning to subscription models that reward longevity, a bigger opportunity lies with commerce platforms. Today, customers can search for products by price, brand, color, technical specifications, and increasingly sustainable claims. Durability needs to become a feature too. Niche e-commerce site Buy Me Once offers only products that last for life. Their customers save both time and money, in addition to environmental benefits. However, more data and consistent durability metrics are needed before we can easily compare and choose durable products. Right. Something else in this article that stands out, right, is, right, for instance, a washing machine and a dryer. Now, we know we'll keep our washing machine and our dryer for the duration of its life, and then sometimes we'll have it serviced if we got an insurance plan on it. Or some people that purchase their homes, they have things like home shields, so then they can have service done to these things. Now, we commonly, even before we talk about the plan for the selling or not selling, or the technically renting per hour, even before we get there, we could actually talk about more companies coming in and selling insurance for a lot of these different things, like where you're paying a monthly subscription fee for your things to be serviced if anything gets broken. Just imagine you were paying $13 a month or $15 a month for your washer and dryer and insurance that would allow it to be serviced, right? Imagine that. You say, okay, well, it's like a subscription fee. As long as I keep my subscription fee, I can call and have these things serviced, no problem. I don't have nothing to worry about. That, to me, is a business model that would help the economy, which is something else that you could run on blockchain technology. So I see what's happening here. I don't understand the big commotion, but I do see that if this gets linked to blockchain, these are going to be game changers for us in general. I know a lot of us are used to the old ways, but this here is definitely a game changer when we look going forward with technology and enhancing our lives and making it better and easier. All right, so number 3, it says build pride in Second Life. What if something can no longer be used for the purpose it was originally sold for? When an electric vehicle battery is replaced, it may still have up to 80% capacity remaining. Already, retired electric vehicle batteries have been repurposed to power street lights and a stadium. General Motors is beginning to redesign batteries with the ease of transition to a second life in mind. Refurbished consumer electronics are slowly coming into fashion with startups such as Back Market and Refurbed. In the business-to-business world, increasing lifespan by remanufacturing brings the added value of reducing cost and delivery time. Remanufacturing constitutes more in-depth work that restores used equipment to its original performance level. For large-scale investments such as wind turbines, it can almost double the return on original investments by extending the turbine life by up to 20 years. This here, too, is awesome as well. When we think about trying to save money and be cost effective, think about, for instance, buying a tablet or a new phone, or let's say a GPU for rendering on your PC. Second Life, the washer machine, right? These things can be repurposed and still be serviced on a regular basis. So to me, we do have things in abundance, and at some point in time, things are going to be unworkable and they have to be destroyed, right? And then recycled in a sense of the scrap. So that makes sense. But for the most part, we are in an economy now where everybody can slide a card, purchase whatever it is that they want, and then when they get tired of it, just toss it. It becomes scrap that goes into waste or landfills, and then we're not reusing or reimagining the use. We're just creating these massive mountains of waste, which creates massive amounts of gas, which becomes destructive to the ecosystem in itself. So just playing the devil's advocate here. I mean, I don't know if the intent is to try to, in some form or fashion, take all freedoms from us, if that's what this might supposed to be trying to lead us into the direction. I'm not sure. But to start, there's always nefarious things behind what you see in front of you, right? It's common things that we tend to see. Doesn't mean that it's 100% real or true, but it's just always the thought that these things can exist. But for the economy, the social economy, the financial economy, this actually makes sense. I really can't see anything bad here. It just kind of, again, I'm only going on what I can see in front of me. So it really doesn't even sound that bad to even think of it as a headache. It just goes to show that we are entering into a new world, right? We have been in a world where we could just waste and it is what it is. We just waste. We can buy and waste. This country, this business model, this country, the United States, has been known as a wasteful country. So now those things are coming to an end. I couldn't tell you the direct reason. I suspect a lot of things. I do suspect that we're not doing trade with other countries. I do suspect that other countries don't want to do trade with the United States because they, one, know that our dollar is just overinflated and has no value because it's only backed by debt, right? So that's kind of wasteful. Nobody wants that. We want some actual currency that has a real value. Also, we know that there's been a lot of sanctions. We understand that, this country has told other people what they can and can't do. We also understand that there's these stories that exist of coups and everything else that has happened. Whether it's true or not, it's not for me to decide. We're just in discussion of the economy, the social economy and the actual financial economy, because that's what's important to us. So looking at this and understanding the possibilities of these other nations and countries doing it makes sense. Because if nobody wants to do business with us, then we're kind of in a position where we need to do that. We need to start recycling things. I get that. Is it the end of the world? Not yet, but, it's just something to think about. We're going into a new era. We're going into a new time. We're going into a new world, or AKA age, also known as age. We're going into a new age, and things are changing. I don't think we should be innately scared of it, but I do think we need to keep our eye on what's going on, because we're going through big changes, and we're seeing it now. We're seeing it in the financial sector, the financial part of the economy. We're seeing it. Okay, we're seeing it. So, yeah, those are the two articles I wanted to discuss today. I hope you've gained anything from these articles. I hope you can have a discussion about these articles with your family and friends. And if there's anything you'd like to share, I would love for you to get in the comments section and share your thoughts there. If you did gain anything from the video, though, could I get you to hit that like button? It's greatly appreciated. And again, if you have any family, friends, or loved ones you think could use any of this information, don't hesitate to share the link. And I will catch you all in our next episode. Thank you.